2025 marks 50 years of NAIDOC Week. 1975 was the very first NAIDOC Week, and what an important journey that has been for Australia. The theme this year of NAIDOC Week is Next Generation, Strength, Vision and Legacy, and I'm going to be discussing all of that with Charlie Ashby, who is the cultural lead for Cullunghutti, wonderful Cullunghutti Centre in the beautiful Shoalhaven. I'm Nicky Sloan. I'm CEO of Community Industry Group, and I'm coming to you today from the beautiful lands of the Dharawal people. I'm bringing you Community Matters, the podcast that discusses community issues with the people that are making a difference. And as I said, today I'm joined by Charlie Ashby from Cullunghutti. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Charlie, Cullunghutti is an amazing Aboriginal community-controlled organisation. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do and some of the programs that you run?
Sure. So Cullunghutti has been operating for 11 years now. We run multiple programs such as women's groups, mentoring services within the local primary schools. We also offer mentoring services within the high schools as well. We also have a program called the Buraya Milimba program, which in our Dharawal and Durga language means child shine. I'm the cultural lead for that position. We also have a team of support that wraps around all the child and the families that come into that program. Infant mental health practitioner as well, family support officers as well. We also do family support, intake and referrals, crisis interventions, community engagements, just to name a few.
Cultural lead, what does that mean in your work?
It's a very big role. It's a new role that I've only been in for just over a year now. Yeah, big responsibility. It's a great job, but it comes with a lot of responsibility in the community. So
I'm sure it does. And in terms of being a cultural lead, is that working with the children and families or with staff?
Yeah, it's all of the above. Yeah,
right.
My role is funded to work with children to strengthen their cultural identity. A lot of the kids that are coming into our program come from a lot of trauma backgrounds, and sometimes there's no male figure in the family, and so we establish all of this. We gain all this information when they first do an intake into our service. Then I come in and support the child and the family. And then we start to go out on country. So my role is to take the children out on country. We go 5 times a week, and it could be anywhere between 10 to 25 children at any one time.
Wow.
And that ranges from young babies from the baby room all the way up to kids ready to transition to primary school, kindy. So we take them out on country. We get rid of the fear of the bush, and we embrace everything, including the animals, the tangible and intangible, so the things we can and can't see, the spirits of the place, and that strengthens the child's identity and their approach to culture, and they become better young people, because they start to learn respect and responsibility and what we can and can't do and all of those type of things. So yeah, but that's only for the children, and then I have to do some group activities with some of our staff members where we go out, we do a bit of truth telling, and we talk about our own experiences, and we try to upskill all the educators within our service so that they can help support the children that are in the preschools that we have at Cullunghutti. That
sounds amazing. Amazing work. You were saying that, I was just reflecting that the theme of NAIDOC Week is Next Generation, Strength, Vision and Legacy. Given that and the work that you're doing, how do you think that vision resonates for you?
That's a big question. That
it is huge.
Look, I feel confident with the next generation of children. If what we're seeing out on country with our programs is an indication of what the future is going to look like. Then we're in good hands. You know, a lot of the kids, when they transition off the bus onto country, we start to walk around. We always acknowledge the old people. We always acknowledge the animals around us. And it's gotten to the point where the children are saying, hello, old people, we love you. Goodbye, old people, we love you. See you next time, old people. Calling kangaroos, uncles and all that type of stuff, because what we've done is we built that foundation up that we are equal with the animals and the trees and with nature, and our culture's always been like that. So because of colonisation and the impacts that it's had, we're going back to the basics, and that's to build a great relationship with country and the animals, one that's built on trust and respect. And so these children are coming back to school and they're just a whole different child. You know, their approach to educators, new people that are coming in, families that are coming in, new friends that are joining their rooms, their approach to everything is respect, and the manners that come with it is great to see. And it's only 1 year into this specific program.
Oh, that all just sounds amazing. That relationship with country is so important, and something that I think as a non-Aboriginal person I really see and respect. Do you think that there's a way for non-Aboriginal people? How could we learn from that relationship with country? Is there opportunity, do you think? Do you think we'll get there?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think there's so many good people out there that are non-Indigenous that are really good allies, and you know, they're coming on this journey with us, and we see them and we see the efforts that they're putting in, and it's great to see. You know, a lot of the educators at Cullunghutti are actually non-Indigenous, and so this is a learning curve for myself as well, to strip away all the information that they thought they knew about Aboriginal people, and starting again with truth-telling, and like I said before, using our own personal experiences to really show them who we really are, and not what media or other sources portray us to be. And so when they really get to know who we are, their whole perception just shifts completely. And that's who we want, people who are going to walk with us on this journey together. Yeah. Mm.
It's really interesting. We did a podcast recently, and the person I was talking to reflected she'd just been to a conference where Stan Grant was, and yes. Stan Grant said we need 97% of Australian people to stand up and be allies for 3%, and I thought that's really powerful. Yeah. We could be allies, couldn't we? We could do better, and we could be allies.
It's I was actually at that conference. Yeah, I had to actually get up and do a presentation, and I remember sitting through that speech that Stan did on the first day, and I think it left a mark on all of us, you know, Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal, and 97%. Yeah, I think it just comes back to just basic things that we have as people, is just being respectful and courteous and mindful of everyone else's beliefs and systems, and who wouldn't want to learn about the oldest continuous culture in the world. You know, it's beautiful, and there is space for them to come on this journey and learn as well, you know.
I think that's such a generous act to do that after over 200 years of colonisation. I want to go back to truth telling. You talked about truth telling.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've been privileged to be part of truth telling, and it's often not easy. I'm sure it's absolutely not easy for Aboriginal people, and it's not easy for non-Aboriginal people to listen to, but it's powerful in its uncomfortableness.
Yes.
A lot of non-Aboriginal people are scared of it. What would you say to them about truth-telling?
If you ever get a chance to participate in those type of sessions or discussions, just give it a go. And, this is where you can grow as a person. And, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you're wrong. This is where we can start to heal together and go on a great journey together. And, we've seen what happens and the great benefits that it has at Cullunghutti, where new educators that come on board, I take them out on country. We do a bit of truth telling. We introduce them to the concept of what country is and what that looks like. And they just have a deeper understanding of what that is. And I believe that that's when we start that journey. Yeah.
I learnt so much through truth telling, and I think about that 97% standing up. And one of the things I heard was from Aboriginal women were talking about being followed in shops.
Yes. Yeah.
And, having the bag searched. And I learned so much from that because I saw it happen. I saw it happen the first time, and a woman in front of me had her bag searched, and I came through and I went to open my bag and they said, no, you're right. And I said, no, you looked in her bag, you look in my bag.
Yeah.
It was a really simple thing, and I do it all the time now whenever I see that. What should non-Aboriginal people be doing? What ways can we show that we're allies?
Yeah. Well, let me know when you're going shopping next. That'll be nice. Look, I like I said, it just comes down to basic things when you're growing up, being respectful and courteous and mindful. I don't know, that's a bit of an open question, because I think just calling it out, I think if you just go to calling it out for what it is and making people, I've always said this to my children and my wife, is just making people with racist behaviour and tendencies, make them feel uncomfortable again. They're in this environment now where, especially with the voting that just came, where they feel like they can just say and do whatever they want and then they can get away with it. Where, when I was growing up, it was called out and they were put on show and they were shamed out in front of everyone, and I never really got to see them doing that in the open, in the public eye as much. They did it behind closed doors, but now I feel like everyone's just so open and brazen with it now, and it's quite scary.
Yes, I think we just saw the recent election, and we saw Welcome to Country and the Voice to Parliament once again being politicised for electioneering purposes. I mean, how does that feel as an Aboriginal person to have those things questioned again? And we know that it was only done for electioneering purposes.
Yeah. Look, it's hard, to be honest, it's hard to kind of switch off to the negative comments and the negative energy in the community. But it's hard to switch off being an Aboriginal person. We can't just, we're not an Aboriginal person 9 to 5, what we do in the community, we do 24/7. And so when these things arise, we're constantly challenged by these things and, this concept of thinking. But for us, look, we know, especially at Cullunghutti, who we are and what we stand for, and we've made our particular organisation a political free zone where no politics, no Aboriginal politics can come into the centre. This is what we're doing and this is how we do it, and that's it. And that's kind of the end of it, where we want our children to be strong in their identity, and we don't want anyone coming in and knocking them down a peg. We want our children to be resilient leaders in the future, and that's what we're building at Cullunghutti. But yeah, me personally, in regards to there's just misinformation, and that's what happens when people like to spew hatred, is that they're not really educated a lot, are they? They kind of don't get outside enough. But it's, as anyone would tell you, but depending on the country, that's who you're being welcomed to, is that particular part of country. And is it such a bad thing that we want the best for you, even given the atrocities after colonisation, is that we still want you to have a safe journey. We still want our old people to care for, love and nurture you when you tread on country. And that just, at the end of the day, that just speaks on the person with the negative energy. You know, that's just know why they feel like that. It's because they just don't want to understand. They don't care.
I think often non-Aboriginal people feel a bit nervous about saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing and causing offence accidentally. I totally think there are lots of people who are quite intentional about being offensive, but I think a lot of us don't mean to be offensive, and it makes us a little bit apprehensive. What would you say to people who want to reach out to Aboriginal people but are a little bit nervous about getting it wrong?
Look, I think the best thing for anyone out there that wants to become an ally is to just go into an Aboriginal organisation or Aboriginal Land Council and just see if there's anything that they can participate in, or if there's any truth-telling sessions or programs that are running. You know, it's not going to be an easy journey that's going to happen overnight. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to challenge their beliefs about us, but also themselves. And at the end of the day, they're going to become a better person, but more importantly, they're going to walk this journey with us. They're going to create a better future. So, yeah, and they're more than welcome to come to Cullunghutti, and I'd be more than happy to have a chat to them as well.
That's lovely. And I think one of the things that I've learnt through, you know, I've had some amazing sessions with some amazing Aboriginal cultural leaders. You got to just check your white fragility at the door.
Yes.
I didn't even know I had it, but I do.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay to be uncomfortable with your uncomfortableness. I think we need to do that because, as you said, we'll grow more.
Yeah, 100%.
We are really fortunate in our organisation to have some great relationships with some wonderful Aboriginal elders. And one of the things that I think I respect the most about Aboriginal culture is the respect that you have for your Aboriginal elders. I think one of the things we don't do well in Australia is respect our elders. And I think ageism is a big issue for a lot of older people. Can you tell me a little bit about the elders you work with and how you work with them and what they give to you and your community?
Wow. Look, the elders that access Cullunghutti, we have a women's group that runs and they come in and this is their safe space where they can be around other female elders. They can sit down and have a yarn about the good old days or about what's happening currently. But look, we have an open door policy at Cullunghutti where any elder, knowledge holder can come on in, have a cuppa, have a biggie, sit down and just have a yarn. If that's what they want to do for the day, that's completely up to them. But we're always available. But the elders are held in the highest esteem, especially the knowledge holders as well. They're the ones that hold the stories for the future and the past, you know. They're the ones that hold the creation stories. They're the ones that hold the keys to how to be a better person, how to be humble, how to get rid of all that ego, and just how to be a better role model and, you know, down the road, be a leader for the community. They're the ones that shape who you are and strengthen your own identity. And, you know, we've always been brought up to respect our elders, you know, and even if we don't know them or they're from a different community, the respect is first and foremost, is to make sure that they're okay. If they need a cuppa or something to eat, they're really important and they're held at the highest esteem. Yeah,
that's definitely something that we need to learn more about, for sure. The theme of this podcast series is Community Matters. Could you tell us about a person or people in your community that matter to you?
Yeah, that would be the children and families that access our services. They're really important to us and they're not just a number. We genuinely care about the families and we're in a position to help them and we do the best that we can. And, you know, we are seeing a lot of families that are happy with the services that we're providing, and we treat them just like family. And anything they need, they know that we'll be there, and they also know that we work 24/7, and it's not just from 9 to 5. They know that they can always reach out to us as well, and they know that we'll pick up the phone, and that's what community does for each other, and we've got nothing but love for the community, and we receive that as well. So
that's beautiful. I think that's a nice circle back to that whole NAIDOC theme of next generation, strength, vision and legacy. It's clear that's what you're building at Cullunghutti.
Yeah.
It's been a real privilege to have this conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anything that you wanted to say that you haven't had the opportunity to say?
Look, if you ever have the opportunity to visit Nowra, please pop into Cullunghutti, and we'd be more than happy to show you around, maybe introduce you to some elders that are there on the day. We're like a big family, just come in and say hello. But look, we're always looking for Aboriginal educators for Cullunghutti. There's a big shortage of educators at the moment in that sector, and we have a high number of Aboriginal children attending Cullunghutti, but we don't have the Aboriginal educators to match that. So any Aboriginal educators that want to jump on board with any of our awesome programs, feel free to give us a call or reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to have you on about culture, something that's very near and dear to me, and I appreciate the opportunity.
I've really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you. I'm sure everyone's enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much, Charlie, for being with us. Happy NAIDOC Week. And I would just like to thank everybody for tuning in to Community Matters, the podcast, where we explore community issues with people who are making a difference. Please like this episode, share it, leave us a review, and tune in next time for the next episode of Community Matters.